For 70 years, whoever controlled oil controlled the world. Nations rose and fell based on their access to petroleum. Wars were fought over drilling rights, and entire economies revolved around a single black liquid. But something fundamental has changed in the global power structure, and most people haven't noticed yet. The world's most powerful currency is no longer oil. It's a collection of 17 obscure metals that most people have never heard of. These metals are called rare earth elements, and they're the foundation of every technology that matters. Smartphones, electric vehicles, wind turbines, fighter jets, and artificial intelligence data centers. And one nation controls 90% of the global supply of these processed materials. Not through military conquest, not through luck, but through a 40-year strategic plan executed with precision while the rest of the world looked the other way. Understanding this shift in global power isn't just about geopolitics. It's about recognizing where wealth and influence are flowing in the 21st century. Because the nation that controls the electric economy will shape the future just as powerfully as oil producers shape the past. The year is 1992, and China's leader makes a statement that would reshape global economics for the next century. The Middle East has oil, China has rare earth elements, he declares during a tour launching economic reforms. Welcome to Bold Bucks Official. We analyze the strategic shifts that determine where power and wealth flow in the global economy. If you want to understand the forces shaping the next 30 years, subscribe now. This video will reveal why critical minerals have become more strategically important than oil, and what this means for investors, nations, and the future of global power. Most people assume rare earth elements are called rare because they're scarce, but that's not quite accurate. These 17 metals, including dysprosium, terbium, and praseodymium, exist in moderate concentrations throughout the Earth's crust. The challenge isn't finding them, it's extracting and processing them economically and safely. Rare earth elements almost never appear in pure concentrated deposits. They're mixed with other minerals and often contain radioactive materials like thorium. Separating these elements requires complex chemical processes that generate significant environmental waste. This is where China saw an opportunity that Western nations missed entirely. In the 1980s and 90s, as environmental regulations tightened in the United States and Europe, mining and processing rare earths became expansive and politically difficult. Western companies and governments made a calculated decision. Let China handle the dirty, difficult work of processing these materials. It seemed like a reasonable trade at the time. China got low-value mining jobs, and Western nations kept high-value technology manufacturing. But China was playing a longer game, while Western nations were content to offshore the messy parts of the supply chain. Beijing was building vertical integration across the entire rare earth ecosystem. Not just mining, but chemical separation, alloy manufacturing, magnet production, and recycling technology. They provided subsidies to Chinese companies, imposed production quotas to prevent oversupply, and invested heavily in research to improve processing efficiency. By the early 2000s, China had achieved dominance so complete that it controlled 70% of mining, 90% of processing, and 94% of high-performance magnet manufacturing. They had transformed rare earth elements from a commodity into a strategic choke point. But why do these obscure metals matter so much? The answer lies in understanding the technological revolution currently reshaping civilization. The world is transitioning from a petroleum economy to an electric economy. Electric vehicles, renewable energy, data centers, and advanced manufacturing all run on electrons rather than combustion. And the infrastructure powering this electric economy depends entirely on rare earth elements. Take electric vehicle motors. For example, the most powerful and efficient motors use permanent magnets made from neodymium and these magnets maintain their magnetic fields indefinitely without requiring external power, making them far superior to traditional electromagnetic motors. A single Tesla Model 3 requires approximately 1 kilogram of rare earth elements in its motor. As global electric vehicle production scales to tens of millions of units annually, the demand for these materials becomes astronomical. Wind turbines face the same dependency. Large offshore wind turbines can require over 2 tons of rare earth magnets to generate electricity efficiently. As nations commit to renewable energy targets, they're simultaneously committing to massive rare earth consumption. Military technology presents perhaps the most critical dependency. F-35 fighter jets contain over 400 kilograms of rare earth materials in their engines. Sensors and electronic warfare systems, Virginia-class submarines, Tomahawk missiles, radar systems, and precision-guided munitions all rely on rare earth components. The Pentagon has acknowledged that the United States cannot manufacture modern weapon systems without rare earth elements, and currently depends on Chinese supply chains for these materials. Think about the strategic implications of that dependency for a moment. Artificial intelligence data centers represent the newest and potentially largest source of rare earth demand. High-performance servers require sophisticated cooling systems and power supplies that use rare earth magnets and materials. As AI deployment accelerates, data center construction is creating unprecedented demand for these critical materials. In April of 2025, China demonstrated exactly how powerful this control has become. The Chinese government imposed export restrictions on 7 heavy rare earth elements and all related compounds, metals, and magnets. Within weeks, automotive factories in the United States and Europe faced shortages of permanent magnets. Ford temporarily closed its Chicago assembly plant because it couldn't obtain the magnets needed for electric vehicle motors. Other manufacturers cut production or scrambled to find alternative suppliers that simply didn't exist at sufficient scale. The disruption was brief, resolved through diplomatic negotiations, but it sent a clear message to the world. China possesses the ability to disrupt major industries across multiple nations simultaneously without firing a shot or imposing traditional sanctions. This is economic leverage of a type rarely seen in history. Some analysts compare it to OPEC's oil embargo of 1973. But that comparison understates the situation. Oil has always had multiple producers and alternative suppliers. Even during the embargo, other nations could increase production, but rare earth processing has no readily available alternatives outside China. Building new processing facilities takes years, requires billions in investment, and faces significant technical and environmental challenges. The International Energy Agency estimates that even with aggressive investment, it would take a decade for Western nations to achieve meaningful supply chain diversification. This asymmetry in timelines gives China enormous strategic patience. They can afford to wait, experiment with export restrictions, and observe how other nations respond, because rebuilding competitive processing capability cannot happen quickly. So what are Western nations doing in response to this strategic vulnerability? The United States has launched the Mineral Security Partnership, a coalition of 14 countries working to build alternative supply chains. The Department of Defense committed $400 million to MP Materials to expand processing at the Mountain Pass facility in California and build a domestic magnet manufacturing plant. Australia, which has significant rare earth deposits, is investing in separation and processing capabilities to reduce dependence on Chinese refining. Europe has identified critical minerals as a strategic priority and is providing funding to develop domestic processing capacity. But these efforts face substantial obstacles beyond just capital and time. Environmental regulations that made rare earth processing difficult in Western nations haven't changed. Gaining permits for new facilities remains challenging. Technical expertise has atrophied. Decades of offshoring meant that knowledge about complex separation chemistry has concentrated in China. Cost competitiveness remains difficult. Chinese processes benefit from economies of scale, vertical integration, and government support that new Western facilities cannot match immediately. Most importantly, even as Western nations build new capacity, China continues advancing. They're increasing domestic production, building strategic reserves, improving recycling technology, and expanding control over rare earth deposits in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia through Belt and Road Initiative investments. This isn't a race where Western nations can simply catch up. It's a moving target that requires sustained commitment over decades. The broader pattern here extends beyond just rare earths to what experts call critical minerals. This includes lithium for batteries, cobalt for energy storage, graphite for anodes, and dozens of other materials essential for clean energy technology. China has achieved dominant positions across multiple critical mineral supply chains through the same strategic approach: vertical integration, long-term investment, and willingness to accept environmental and economic costs that other nations avoided. The result is that the clean energy transition, which Western nations see as essential for climate goals, requires massive increases in materials controlled predominantly by China. Nations committed to transitioning away from fossil fuels find themselves creating new dependencies that may be even more concentrated than their old oil dependencies. This creates a fundamental tension in global strategy. Pursuing energy independence through renewable sources actually increases supply chain dependency on Chinese critical minerals. The only path to true strategic autonomy requires building entirely new supply chains, which takes time, money, and political will that must be sustained across multiple election cycles. For investors, this shift from oil to critical minerals creates both risks and opportunities that will play out over decades. The obvious opportunity lies in companies developing rare earth mining, processing, and magnet manufacturing capabilities outside China. These businesses face technical challenges and require patient capital, but they're building capabilities that will have strategic value regardless of short-term profitability. Companies developing technologies that reduce rare earth dependency also present interesting opportunities. Researchers are working on motors that use less or no rare earth magnets, recycling technologies that can recover rare earths from electronic waste, and substitute materials that can replace rare earths in some applications. Any breakthrough that reduces critical mineral dependency would have enormous market value. Battery technology investments require understanding the entire supply chain, not just the final product manufacturers. Companies controlling lithium, cobalt, or graphite deposits and processing may have more durable advantages than battery makers themselves. Infrastructure investments in countries seeking to diversify supply chains represent another strategic opportunity. As nations commit hundreds of billions to building alternative mineral processing capacity, companies providing equipment, technology, and services to this sector will benefit. Perhaps most importantly, understanding critical mineral dependencies helps investors assess geopolitical risk across all technology investments. Any company heavily dependent on Chinese supply chains for critical components faces strategic vulnerability that could materialize suddenly through export restrictions or political tensions. Diversified supply chains and strategic stockpiles become competitive advantages worth paying premium valuations for. The shift from oil to critical minerals as the foundation of global strategic power represents one of the most significant economic transitions of our time. It's happening gradually enough that most people haven't fully grasped its implications, but decisively enough that the outcomes are becoming locked in. Nations that secure access to critical mineral supply chains will have strategic advantages in developing advanced technologies, maintaining military capabilities, and leading the clean energy transition. Nations that remain dependent will face constant vulnerability to supply disruptions and will potentially need to make political concessions to maintain access. For individuals and investors, understanding this transition provides a framework for evaluating where power and wealth will flow over the coming decades. The 20th century belonged to nations and companies that controlled oil. The 21st century will belong to those who control the materials that power the electric economy. China recognized this transition 40 years ago and positioned itself accordingly. Western nations are responding now, but they're operating from a position of significant disadvantage that will take decades to overcome. The question isn't whether critical minerals have become the new strategic currency. That transition is already complete. The question is how the rest of the world adapts to a reality where one nation holds dominant control over materials essential to modern civilization. That adaptation will shape geopolitics, economics, and investment returns for the next 30 years. If you found this analysis valuable, like this video. To help others understand this fundamental shift in global power, subscribe to Boldbucks Official for strategic insights that go beyond headlines to reveal the deeper patterns shaping our economic future. Comment below. Do you think Western nations can successfully diversify critical mineral supply chains? Or will Chinese dominance continue? Understanding these strategic shifts is how informed investors position themselves ahead of major trends.